Lawlessness. With Annette
That's my drag queen name stuff.
and Casey.
How can I not get a bottle of Smirnoff open? Well, welcome to episode 3
Of Liquor and Lawlessness.
I'm Annette,
I'm Casey.
and we are here to give you some not so wholesome entertainment. So we'll start with our disclaimer, which is if you are here for wholesome entertainment, you are in the wrong place. But if you like to hear about dumb crimes and dumb criminals who may or may not be under the influence,
Which we always are.
yes, then you are in the right place. Liquor and Lawlessness talks about true crime and the stupidity of the criminals who commit it. But it's all in fun, and there's probably going to be some swearing. So
This is not the place for you if you can't take a joke.
if you can't take a joke and you can't handle an F-bomb.
Yep, exactly.
Yep. All right, so we start each episode with a drink.
Bev. What's
Yeah.
the Bev?
So the Bev is, I got it from a friend of mine who calls it a Camp Tease Bourbon Sling. Now, I don't know if he calls it a Camp Tease because, like T, like the letter T, because the first time he made it for me, the only time he made it for me, we were at my friend Tracy's house. Maybe that's why it's called that,
Starts
but
with a
it
T.
is Maker's Mark. And
How lovely he named a drink after
I
her.
know, that's so sweet. It's true love. Maker's Mark Campari, which the first time I tried to make this, I fucked up and got Chambord, which is sickly sweet.
Well, I hope that you've gotten the right
No, I got the right
ingredients for
stuff this time.
tonight.
Because I actually went back and bought the right stuff, and then I just haven't made the drink since then. But it's Maker's Mark Campari, lemon juice, simple syrup, and 2 dashes of orange bitters. And then I didn't know what one would garnish it with, so I put in both a lemon and an orange because we don't want scurvy.
No. Have you ever heard somebody say when they don't want the fruit carcass out?
Carcass out, that's what they call it? No, I have not heard that.
Like, I'll take a vodka and soda, carcass out.
No, never heard that.
Can't you just say no fruit?
Right. Well, because you got to be cool.
Yeah. Okay.
Got to be a douche. All
Yes, you
right,
do.
ready to try?
Okay. Here we go. I hope you're not going to kill me.
Holy shit, that's strong.
Oh, God, I'm afraid.
I don't remember it being that strong.
Okay. Oh. Oh. Oh, God. It's like all whiskey.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm going to smush my orange and my lemon.
If we weren't buzzing yet, we're
going to be,
'cause This
so.
is like heavy.
I know, and I was looking at how much Maker's Mark I had, and I was like, oh, should I get another bottle? And I was like, no, we're not going to drink that much.
Oh, it is really strong. Not gonna lie.
And then I broke my straw.
Oh.
All right.
Okay.
Got an Urban Dictionary for us?
I do have an Urban Dictionary.
Cool.
Nutterflies. What do you think a nutterfly is?
Well, I'm sure it has nothing to do with butterflies and the pollinators of the earth.
No, it doesn't.
Or maybe it does.
Well, technically it pollinates, I guess.
Oh my, okay.
Okay. The nervous feeling that arises when you want to stroke the salami, but fear that someone might walk in or come home. So you're trying to jack off, but you're afraid like your parents are going to catch you or
Right.
whatever. So
Is it just me or does it seem a little sexist that it's only stroking the salami?
it does, because nutterflies would only apply to men then.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you call a female?
I don't know. What would you call a female?
I don't know. We need to, if
Because
somebody
it feels
knows.
more like the female is the butterfly. Maybe that's what one imagines when he strokes said salami.
Yeah, because, yeah, never mind. I'm not going to go there.
I don't know what the girl version of that would be.
Okay. Well, if anybody knows, let us know.
But I think too with the, I mean, not to get too graphic, but to get too graphic, I feel as if a girl can cover up really quickly and you don't know for sure what she was doing, where if he hadn't finished,
It's a predicament.
it is a predicament.
Here's
And you can point right at it. Or it's pointing right at you, I'm not sure which.
Here's the sentence.
Oh, okay, good.
I really want to watch the Brazilian Bang Bus. I'm guessing that's a porn. But I got nutterflies since Mom will be home in 10 minutes.
Yeah. And that is a double dilemma because watching a porno and having your mother walk in is probably also bad.
Just a little bit. Horrifying, actually.
Yeah, I can't even imagine.
No.
And what I don't understand is, well, I guess you could watch it on your phone with headphones in or earbuds in.
So you're just listening to music?
Listen to a podcast, Mom.
Oh, God.
And she'll be like, is it that true crime one?
Let me sit down and listen with you.
Or not. Okay. So I've got a question for you. Have
Okay.
you ever heard of cremain lining? I'm not sure where the
I'm sorry,
emphasis
can you
goes.
repeat that again?
Cremain lining.
I have no idea what that is.
Okay, so apparently it is snorting somebody's ashes.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Snorting somebody's ashes as if it was cocaine or heroin or something.
People really do that.
Apparently. Well, Keith Richards did it, so I have a little Keith Richards story.
Okay.
For those of you unfamiliar, he's the guitarist from the Rolling Stones who appears to have done every drug on the planet and survived to tell the story. So he was interviewed by some magazine about his lifelong drug exploits, and in the interview, he was asked, what is the strangest thing that you have ever tried to snort?
And he said ashes?
And he said that he had snorted his father Bert's cremated ashes mixed with cocaine.
Now, how do we think Bert felt about that?
Well, he said, and I quote, my dad wouldn't have cared. And then he added that the snorted mixture went down pretty well and I'm still alive. And that's a quote.
I have so many questions.
I have no answers probably, but go on.
So I don't do those types of things, but
You don't snort your dad's ashes? Your dad's
no,
alive, though,
or
so that doesn't count.
unfortunately I don't do drugs either, but I imagine that somebody
It's a lot better if you smush the fruit.
Okay, I need to do that. I imagine that if somebody is snorting cocaine, it's to get like a high or a buzz.
I would think.
And so I'm wondering what the purpose of the ashes is, because I'm thinking a dead person's ashes aren't
Going to get you high, right?
Yeah. So why the fuck would you do that?
Well, so this is what the real story is according to his autobiography. He said and this is a quote, after having dad's ashes in a big black...
I broke my straw.
There's more.
Damn it. Sorry.
After having dad's ashes in a big black box for 6 years, because I really couldn't bring myself to scatter him around, I finally planted a sturdy English oak to spread him around. And as I took the lid off the box, a fine spray of his ashes blew out onto the table. I couldn't just brush him off, so I wiped my finger over it and snorted the residue, which is a little bit better.
I guess so. But are other people actually doing this too? And what reason do they have?
Well, yes, other people are doing it. So here is our first crime. So this is in Silver Springs Shores, Florida, which, by the way, has too many names. You can either be
That's
Silver
like a tongue
Shores
twister.
or Silver Springs or Spring Shores. You can't have three.
No, it's
There's
a
a
tongue
rule.
twister.
Right. It's too much. Anyway, so this lady's house gets broken into. The thieves steal electronic equipment and jewelry, and they also stole 2 decorative urns, each containing powder. So when the police arrested them, they were 5 teens, so we already know they're dumb, in connection with a nearby burglary. And then the investigation reveals that the kids were the ones who broke into this woman's house too, and they thought that the powder was cocaine, and they snorted it.
So they saw an urn and said, that's probably cocaine?
2 urns, yeah. I mean, I've never had an urn with dead people's ashes in it. Is it white like cocaine is? I would think it's black and grayish and whitish like your fire pit.
I haven't either, but I feel like you don't open the urn and look. Like
I
I
wouldn't
think
think so.
urns are like
Right.
sealed. They're not something
There's sometimes I'm basing this entirely on Meet the Parents, where the where the urn falls over and
That's
the
where
cat
everybody should get their news information.
100%, where the urn falls over and the cat thinks it's
Oh,
a litter
yeah.
box. So they're not all sealed, I guess. Anyway, they took this urn, these 2 urns, and they were actually the ashes of her father, and then the other container had the ashes of her 2 dead Great Danes. And so when the teens figured out what had happened, they didn't know what to do. So they decided, well, should we return the remaining ashes? But instead they threw them in a nearby lake, which is kind of rude. And at the time of the article being printed that I got this from, or written that I got this from, or this part at least, the kids were worried that their fingerprints were on the urns and it would lead back to them. And so they threw it in the lake instead. And then the police divers were called in to see if they could recover the ashes.
And?
No, because how could you? It'd
Well,
be watery, right?
That's what I assumed, but I had to ask.
It's a watery grave. I don't know. It doesn't say, but I'm guessing. And the suspects ended up going to jail on numerous burglary charges and other charges. And so this all made me realize, did you ever watch that show, My Strange Addiction?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's
People
this
eat like
woman,
chalk and shit.
Yeah, there's this woman who was on there, and the title of the program, or the tagline or whatever, was she was addicted to eating the ashes of her late husband.
I have no words. I don't know.
Right. She lost her husband because he had a fatal asthma attack, and then she developed this strong compulsion to keep his ashes by her side at all times, which to me seems like just grief and trauma, right? And then she started eating the ashes because she was transferring her husband's cremated remains from the box into a pretty urn, because they send it to you in a box, like just, UPS.
Well, how is she going to have any in the urn if she's eating them all?
Well, right. And so then she actually accidentally got some of the ashes on her finger when she was pouring it in, sort of like when I was trying to make these stupid drinks and the shit was flying everywhere, right? A little bit different, but basically the same idea. And she didn't want to just brush them off. Apparently she's Keith Richards. She licked them off, and then it became compulsive after that. And so at the time the show was recorded, and she said that the ashes tasted horrible, which you can imagine. She'd been eating them for 2 months and it had consumed approximately 6 pounds. That's my other question. People can let us know, how much ash is there left over from your dead relative? Like, how big of a box?
Who looks at their hands with ashes on them and thinks, let me lick this?
I don't know. It's so weird. I guess there's a disease or a mental illness called, is it PICA? P-I-C-A?
I don't know what it is.
Which is about eating non-nutritive items or substances, which is what that whole show was based on for the eaters.
Well, I think the disease is called You're Fucked Up.
You need some help. Anyway, so it is compulsive. You eat these things. And some people have thought that maybe she ate all these ashes in particular, because it was just some sort of weird, symbolically holding on to her husband, or some weird grief manifestation or trauma manifestation or whatever, but it not good.
No, I'm sure he appreciated that.
Here's where you wonder if they really can see us from beyond and are like, what in the fuck? What in the holy fuck?
Exactly. So I have a story.
Mm-hmm.
It's about a criminal who was caught orange-handed.
Not like my orange in my drink.
Orange-handed, no. So this woman, her name was Sharon Carr.
Uh-huh.
And she's from Oklahoma.
Okay.
She was busted during a home invasion.
Uh-huh.
Because she was a burglar.
She burgled the place.
Mm-hmm. she committed a cheesy act.
What?
You'll find out why I said that in a minute. So anyways, the mom and the 2 kids that live in the house call 911 and report that there is a woman that is currently prying off the screen of their window and like crawling into their home. So
that's scary as fuck, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, they're terrified. By the time the police get there, she had been scared off.
Okay.
So she took off.
The burglar.
The burglar took off.
Okay.
But she left her bag of Cheetos and a bottle of water near the open window. So I don't know if she was like hanging out, snacking on the Cheetos and water outside the window before she decided it was go time and she was going to pop the screen.
Well, why does she not have Mountain Dew? Isn't that what you're supposed to eat with Cheetos?
Right. Who drinks water with Cheetos?
It's un-American, you bitch.
But anyways, the police caught her, not long after.
Got her orange-handed.
That's when I said that. The mom ID'd the invader of her home, but the police further cemented the arrest when they found that she had orange Cheeto dust stuck all in her teeth.
Shut up. No, that's so gross.
Her teeth were orange from the
Oh my
Cheeto
God,
dust.
No,
So-
I can't.
She dropped the bag on her escape and had Cheeto dust all over herself. So, a good reminder that Cheeto dust is hard to get off.
It is.
And you probably should not commit a crime with Cheeto dust all over you.
I don't understand. I guess because I'm not a burglar or a criminal in general, I can't imagine how nervous I would be before committing a crime.
That you would hang
That I
out
would
and
be
eat
able
Cheetos
to
and
eat
water?
anything, right? Who could eat? I couldn't eat anything.
I don't know.
Freaking the fuck out.
I was a little bummed by her mugshot
Oh, God.
because, they said her teeth were caked in Cheeto dust.
Please
So I
tell me
was
it's
really
not a
hoping,
picture.
I really was hoping she was smiling
Oh no.
so I could see the Cheeto dust. But Sharon is not smiling.
Oh, because she got arrested.
This is Sharon.
Oh yeah, she looks like a Cheeto eater.
Yeah. But unfortunately, her lips are closed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because she's probably really upset now.
Yeah.
It's incriminating now to have your mugshot with the orange Cheeto dust because when she goes to trial, they're going to say she had orange Cheeto dust and her lawyer's going to say, prove it.
Well, did they I wonder if they took a picture of
I would hope so.
her Cheeto dust teeth as
Gross.
like evidence.
Right. Here's my question. I have eaten Cheetos in the past, not recently that I can think of.
Mm-hmm.
But do your teeth have to be nasty to begin with? Like you haven't brushed them in a bit for the stuff to stick to them?
Yeah, because I feel like couldn't you just kind of like lick your...
Don't you just lick your teeth? Doesn't the water rinse it away?
Yeah. I'm surprised she didn't have it all over her fingers because
Right.
that's where I would think they would
That's
have
where
found
the Cheeto dust goes for me.
it. Sharon Carr, the alleged burglar, was identified by Cheeto dust in her mouth.
How embarrassing.
Mm-hmm. So
I mean, it's hard to rock street cred when you are in jail for Cheeto dust. Cheeto dust did me in.
So yeah, that's it. I mean, she should have stuck with like Funyuns or something.
Funyuns, yeah.
Yeah.
Lay's potato chips. Better made potato chips since
Yeah.
we're Metro Detroit.
So yeah, Sharon Carr. She's an asshole.
Have you ever had to consistently take a bus?
No. Some in college, but I wouldn't say consistently.
Yeah, like you when you were a kid. And,
Like when I was a kid,
well,
to elementary
when
school.
I was K-12, we did not have a bus. We were like 6 houses from the limit for how far you could be away. You'd have
gotcha.
to walk.
Mm-hmm.
So you could barely get any further away from the goddamn school. But we didn't get to take a bus. And I remember thinking how cool it would be to take a bus because I didn't get to take a bus.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And then at one time I took a bus to work and my sister dropped me off at the bus stop and stayed there and waited for me. And she, and I had my dollar or whatever it was in my hand and the wind caught it and blew it away. And she said that it was like sending my kid off. My sister's younger than me too. And she's like, it was like sending my kid off to school. I was so nervous for you because she was such a hot mess trying to get on that fucking bus. Anyway, so no, only a couple of times. And then like, if you're in a big city or whatever, but usually it's subway type.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is why God invented Uber as well. Anyway, this takes us to Minnesota.
Okay. Minnesota.
Justin John Bowden was 27.
Stop. Justin John Bowden.
Yes.
Already a dick. He's got 3 fucking names. We talked about this. When did we talk about this?
I don't know. We talk about it all the time.
I hate people with 3 names. I have a middle name. I have 3 names, but I certainly don't go by them.
Right. But I'm wondering if part of it is because we want to differentiate Justin John from Justin Paul Bowden and every other Bowden in Minnesota.
Well, then maybe you shouldn't have named yourself Justin. I don't know.
I don't know either.
It's weird.
So he's 27 years old. He's waiting at a bus stop in Minnesota. And I love when you get the local newspaper because they're very specific on things that mean nothing to me. So he's at Minnesota and East 7th Street.
Wherever that may be.
Wherever that is. Somewhere in the Twin Cities area.
That's like,
St. Paul.
Yeah, the local paper that like busts all the people that got DUIs and puts their name in the paper so
Right.
the whole neighborhood can shame you.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, the idea of, like your local GPS, your Google Maps, where it tells you to head towards some rando ass road, which is fine if it's telling me where to go in my fucking neighborhood, but not helpful when I'm parked in a parking lot and I'm going somewhere else and it's telling me to head near Southfield Street or something like that. And I'm like, well, where the fuck is Southfield Street? If I knew where it was, I wouldn't have a problem.
Right.
But anyway, so Minnesota and East 7th Streets. It's about 5 p.m. and he's standing there and there's a whole group standing there. You can imagine it's after work. They're all trying to get their asses home. And he gets upset with some 59-year-old woman for whatever reason and doesn't even say, but he goes off on her. And he starts yelling, why don't you show me some respect? And then when she takes out her cell phone to call the police, he hits her in the face.
Oh, well, that's not cool.
Yeah, that's not cool.
He wants the 59-year-old woman to show the 27-year-old boy respect. Okay.
Exactly, right.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm certainly going to respect you as you hit me in the fucking face, asshole. But anyway, so then a 63-year-old man tries to stop him, and Bowden hits him with this blue folder, and the folder falls on the ground, and he runs away. Never to be seen again, except...
He hits him with a folder?
Yes, whatever was in his hand.
Okay.
And so then
did it do that?
It did a lot of damage, because here's what happened. The police track him down and arrest him because in the folder, besides his name, there was some other paperwork. Guess what it was?
I'm going to guess probation papers.
Sort of. It was his anger management homework. Here's why you have to do your homework, kiddos. Anyway, so he got sentenced he pled guilty to 5th-degree assault charge. I mean, how many different kinds of degrees of assault charges do you have to have there in Minnesota? For losing his temper on the way to his class. And he was on the way to class, too. And so he ends up getting sentenced to time served, and which will be at least 120 days, and probation. And then I'm thinking maybe they should send him to anger management classes. Oh, they work so well the first time.
I was going to say.
Yeah.
His teacher would have been so proud that he got arrested on the way for assaulting 2 elderly people.
Right, and why the fuck wasn't his homework done?
Oh.
Was he going to do it on the bus?
Probably.
Right. Maybe he should have done it before he got to the bus, and it would have.
And then he wouldn't have been frustrated.
And it wouldn't have assaulted some 59-year-old grandma. Yep.
Okay.
So that's my story.
Loser.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, this fugitive, she closed the case on her own.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. She was very helpful.
I like it.
She was. I'm not sure if I'm saying her name right. Zaima.
Okay.
Zaima Johnson.
Sounds fabulous.
Okay.
Sounds
She's
perfect.
27. She was a former postal service worker.
Oh, okay.
From Jersey City.
Okay.
She was on the run from police in Pennsylvania.
She had the runs? Oh, right.
She was on the run from police in Pennsylvania.
But she lived in Jersey City?
She was from Jersey City.
Oh, okay.
When she worked in the Postal Service.
Gotcha.
I'm not really sure. It doesn't elaborate why she was on the run in Monroe County, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
But she was.
Okay.
So, what does one do when they're on the run from the police?
I'm sure you lay low and you play very incognito.
Zaima did not.
Oh.
Oh, and I forgot to mention that she was also, besides this crime in Pennsylvania, wanted on 10 bench warrants for failure to appear in court for traffic charges in Jersey City.
10 times?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
10 bench warrants for traffic court.
Wow.
So, Zaima, having all of these warrants and things out for her, decides that she's going to go apply for a job.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Do you know
I like that she's giving back to the community by working.
Yeah. Guess where she applied?
Driver's ed school?
The Hudson County Sheriff's Office.
Oh, what could possibly go wrong? I'm sure they just let anybody work for the Hudson County Sheriff's Office.
Can we ask what was going through her mind when she thought it was a good idea to apply for a job at the Sheriff's Office?
Well, maybe she was being very kind to them and making them not have to work very hard to arrest her ass.
Well, that's why I said she, closed the case on her own. So,
Oh, my God.
yeah, she goes and applies. And so then they call her under the guise of they're going to, bring her in for an interview, which they aren't. And when she gets there, they arrest her.
I love those big busts where they, send everybody a note that says you want a VCR or whatever you want, and then come and collect your prize.
Yeah. Here's her mugshot. Mugshots are like my favorite part
I like it.
because I just like to look at the asshole that's committed the crime.
Right.
So here's
To see if it's
Zaima.
Oh, she
Says-
actually looks kind of nice.
Zaima Johnson was arrested by Hudson County Sheriff's officers after she applied for a job at the station.
That's so sad. She does look really sad.
But she's not very smart, clearly.
Well, clearly. Although she worked for the Postal Service, you got to pass that test. I don't know.
Yep. So
Sorry, Zaima.
what a dumbass.
Yep. All right, I'm keeping the bus theme going because apparently I like a theme.
Okay.
All right.
Try to suck down more of this fucking
yes.
whiskey.
Okay,
Oh,
so his first name is Jovan. I'm going to call him Jovan.
Jovan.
Jovan Calazo. He's a 23-year-old Army trainee. He spent 3 weeks in training at Fort Jackson Army Base, which is South Carolina, I want to say. And he basically what happens is he's caught on a security camera leaving the base.
Okay.
And he hops on a school bus carrying a rifle.
Now, if there is one way to make yourself stand out, it would probably be hopping on a school bus with a rifle.
Mm-hmm.
Were there children on the school bus?
Oh, yeah. And I don't know if this is, like the buses around here all have cameras on them.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if this one had a camera, but it's morning, so the kids are getting on the bus,
he,
not getting off the bus.
Assault the bus driver? Because I'm wondering.
No, he just jumped on the bus because, the bus is stopped to let the kids on at the stop.
So he just hops in.
And he hops on with his stupid rifle. And and because there were kids on the bus, because the parents are dropping their kids off at the bus stop or standing by the kids on the bus stop, and the kids get on the bus, then this lunatic jumps on the bus. The police are immediately contacted because the mom of one of the kids saw it, right? What a nightmare. I can't even imagine.
That's horrifying.
But obviously, people, since you don't know us very well, if we're telling this story, it's not going to end badly. Well, at least for the kids on the bus.
Correct.
So here's what happened. He reportedly ordered the bus driver, whose name was Kenneth Corbin, to drive him to the next town. And so police believe he was just trying to get home. I don't really blame him. I can't even imagine being in the military. But, dude, take an Uber.
Right.
Seriously. So the next town's about 15 miles away. And he kept asking the driver, how soon are we going to get there? I'm imagining it since it's a school bus. Are we there yet?
Yeah.
Are we there yet? Yeah.
Now, are all the other kids screaming and driving him crazy?
Well, we think that he might not have realized at first that the kids were on the bus, because then he does realize it and he orders them all to come closer to the front
Oh, shit.
so that he can kind of keep an eye on him. And prior to even jumping on the bus, he had been in that neighborhood trying to flag down drivers and asking for a ride. So, maybe he didn't even know that there were kids on the bus and he's just out of his mind. And I'll tell you why later. He may have actually been out of his mind. Anyway, so he realizes there's kids on the bus. He brings them all up towards the front. And I'm sure that it was so that he could keep a better eye on them. But the problem is that's when the problem started. So they're about 4 minutes into the trip.
Okay.
And the kids are from this elementary school called Forest Lake Elementary. And most of them are kindergartners.
Ugh.
Yes. So imagine the horror when kindergartners do one of the things kindergartners do best, pepper you with questions.
Yes, I was just going to say, why are you here? Why do you have that gun? What is your name? How are you?
Exactly. So
They must have just,
it's exciting. Anything that's exciting in their day, because they're so young. I mean, their day's the same every single effing day. They read the same goddamn book every night, right?
Yeah, they have no filter.
No filter.
They will add, no question is off limits.
Right. So the Jovan had a shirt on that said Army. And so the kids started with, are you a soldier? And then they said, why are you doing this? He didn't answer that one. They asked if he was going to hurt them. He asked if he was going to hurt the driver. And eventually, he said no to those things. And he said, I'm going to put you off the bus. And that's what he did.
Because he was probably I can't fucking take any more of the shit.
Right. He's so
Get off the bus.
hyped up and scared and all of those terrible things. And, if he's just literally trying to go AWOL from the military 3 weeks in, scared, away from his family, whatever, He just wants to concentrate. I could never be a bus driver because I don't want that much noise when I'm trying to drive.
Nor for that fact, a kindergarten teacher.
Oh my God.
That has to listen to those
questions.
bullshit questions
Every single day. All day.
And they can't run.
Right. So anyway, he says to the driver, enough is enough already. I guess the bus driver was the one who was still driving. And he tells the bus driver to stop and told everyone to get off. And then he gets in the driver's seat and takes off, basically. So the good news, I guess, is that his rifle didn't have any ammunition at the time.
Okay.
Of course, the driver and the kids couldn't have known that. But according to Commander Brigadier General Milford H. Beagle Jr., who's the guy who runs that fort, whatever.
Wait, can you say that again?
Commander Brigadier General Milford H. Beagle Jr. And you might have to correct me because they did, an abbreviation, BRIG period, GEN period. So I'm guessing that's Brigadier and General.
Okay.
From my vast knowledge of a couple of Army movies. Anyway, so he's in charge of Fort Jackson Army Base. And he says the rifle didn't have ammunition, and the commander didn't believe that this quiet young man meant to harm anybody, but rather just wanted to get off the base. And the commander goes on to say, we do experience several soldiers that over the course of initial stages have that desire, that anxiety, and due to separation from their families to get home, we think that was truly his intent and nothing beyond that.
Well, thank God.
Right. A, thank God, but B, if it's not true, you can't have the brigadier general telling everybody in the neighborhood, we sometimes have some nutsos that we turn loose with rifles. Good luck. Anyway, so Jovan was arrested without incident because basically he pulls over and gets off the bus and the police just arrest him and there's no big deal about it. But he's charged with 19 counts of kidnapping because there were that many people on the bus, armed robbery, carrying a weapon on school property, and possession of a weapon during a violent crime. Those are some serious ass charges.
Those are some serious charges. Serious ass charges. And thank God for those kindergartners.
Thank God for those kindergartners.
Peppered him with all those questions and got off.
Yes. Okay. So according to his lawyer, who has the greatest name ever, Fielding Pringle.
Fielding Pringle?
Mm-hmm. That's a female.
Is that a? Sounds like a stripper name.
It does kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's a lawyer, so we might not want to say that.
Okay.
Allegedly stripper name.
Alleged stripper name.
Anyway, he's going to plead not.
It makes me hungry for Pringles.
I know, right?
Sorry.
He's going to plead not guilty.
Not Cheetos. Sorry.
Never. I'm afraid I will never eat Cheetos again in case it incriminates me. It's the same reason I don't do that 23andMe. I don't want to rat out any of my murdering family members. Although my nephew did it already, and so now I'm screwed.
You're screwed.
I can't ever murder anyone. Not that I was going to, but you never know. The day is young. Anyway, so he's going to plead insanity. And the lawyer says, Fielding Pringle says, that this plea is supported by the fact that once he was in jail, he tried to escape by running naked through the dorm of the jail, hitting himself into steel doors trying to get out, and he's handcuffed at the time. And then he jumps from a second-story window and lands below and breaks his leg. And she's like, no sane person would do that. She's not wrong about that.
No, she's not wrong.
Yeah.
He is.
So that's the story. Kid's bus driver totally safe. He hopefully will get the help that he needs. But he's definitely out of the Army.
He's out of the Army.
Yep.
Okay, so I have my hero.
Oh, cool.
Yep, we're to the, Ain't That the Shit.
Mm-hmm.
This is my Ain't That the Shit. Because these assholes put up with these assholes.
Right.
I didn't mean to call the first responders assholes. I think the whiskey's getting to me. It sounded like they have to put up with the assholes that we discuss.
Right.
So this is in Yonkers, New York.
Yep.
Jessie Cavallo. I hope I'm saying her name right. Officer Jessie Cavallo. Female. She was on her way to work one Friday afternoon, and she saw a boy running along the Sawmill River Parkway.
It sounds like a freeway, if it's a parkway, right?
It sounds like it, but she watched in shock. He climbed over the guardrail and jumped into the river.
Oh, shit.
In front of her. Without thinking, she followed right behind the boy and jumped herself.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
What time of the year was it? Does it say?
It does not say. But she said, when I looked down and saw him, I thought he was dead. I couldn't see anything but blood.
Oh, my God.
I know. That's gory, right? Uh-huh. But anyways, long story short, oops. I just long story short, she saves him.
Oh.
And
He's in the river.
Yeah, gets him out. They have other first responders show up and they start giving CPR to him, strap a brace on him. He's rushed to the hospital. He's treated for broken bones and expected to survive.
Wow.
So she is definitely a hero.
So it obviously was pretty far down.
Yeah, it doesn't say, but...
I mean, to break your bones.
Right. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jessie Cavallo.
So I have a rude question.
I may have an answer. I may not.
I wonder if when you rescue somebody before you've punched in, like, do they punch in?
No, she was on her way to work.
Right. So she's not at work yet.
No.
So
I think
do
that's
they
just
adjust your timesheet?
Probably not. It's just like being a good citizen.
Bullshit. That's unacceptable.
I mean, she should be.
Right.
Yeah.
She should be.
She should be.
They should adjust her timesheet. She could have called ahead and told her partner to clock her in or whatever they do. I don't even know what they do.
Well, I'm sure she wasn't thinking about that.
Really?
But anyways, that's it.
But after. So thanks, Jessie.
Thank you.
And thanks, listeners.
Yep, this is it. We're done. And I cannot drink any more of that whiskey. I don't know if you've been hearing all the the weird sounds coming from over here.
The good news is she just dropped her phone, didn't like drop to the ground.
No, I dropped my phone. My phone was dinging. The whiskey is getting to my head. We're all good.
Yeah.
So,
but we will put the recipe on Facebook.
it's very strong.
It's very strong. But if you let the ice melt a little bit and you smush the fruit,
The carcass.
the carcass, it's better.
All right.
It's better.
Cheers. We're out.
Cheers, we're out.